Om Ajnana Timandasya Chanansala Shlakya Shakshranvitam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutaleshvam Rupakadayam Mayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyo Shiyuda Padakamalam Shirum Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Sha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jatpate Kopesha Kopkakanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sutta Devi Pranamama Hari Priye Vancha Kalptravasha Kripasin Vivisha Patnam Papavana Bhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namani. Namaste Saraswata Deve Kaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Dasatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki. We are continuing with our study of the nectar of instruction. That in the preface we heard about the necessity for controlling the mind and senses to advance in spiritual life. Then we heard text 1. Text 1 explains the techniques of how to control the mind and senses. And then yesterday evening we studied text 2. 6 kinds of activities that spoil one's devotional service, destroys the devotional service. Today we will discuss text 3. And that it discusses the 6 principles that helps us to make progress in devotional service. So we will read the verse which is on the screen. That Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Utsahan Nisaya Daryat Tat karma pavaktanat sangot yagat sato vrite sadbir bhaktir pasidati. Sadbir means 6 items, bhakti, pasidati, which are favorable for devotional service, which makes devotional service successful. And the first is utsaha, enthusiasm, nisaya, having confidence, daryat, being patience, then tat karma pravartanat. These are the execution of all activities favorable for devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Partasevanam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are nine processes of devotional service. Hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, speaking about Krishna, worshipping the deity, the Lord's lotus feet, praying to the deities, worshipping the deities, being a servant of the deity, that seeing Krishna as your friend, and Atmanivedanam, completely surrender to the Supreme Lord. So that is this tat karma pavartanat. Then Sangatyaga, give up the association of non-devotees. That was also mentioned in the previous verse. So it's very important. And then Satovrite, following the great acharyas, the great teachers, the previous spiritual masters, following in their footsteps. Satpir Bhakti Prasiddhati. 6 items that makes us successful in devotional service. Now we have here the translation. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of devotional service. 1 is being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to the regulative principles such as Shravana, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna. 5 is abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure complete success of devotional service. So this Tatat Karma Vavartanat, these 9 activities of devotional service, are described in this verse 7.5.23. It's a verse, this verse has been spoken by Prahlad Maharaj to his father Hiranyakashipu. His father did not appreciate it, but his father asked his son that what is the best you learned from your teachers. And Prahlad was thinking, I will give the best knowledge I heard from my spiritual master Narada Muni. And then he speaks this verse, Shravana Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Varnam Dasyam Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. This is the verse in the Bible with the longest purport, I think 16 pages or so. But it is so essential. If you have time, go to it. You will benefit a lot. So these are the 6 principles. But okay, nice to know. These are favorable items for executing pure devotional service. But Prabhupada in the purport starts with explaining what is this pure devotional service. That we must exactly know what is pure devotional service. Otherwise we cannot understand this verse. So therefore he begins explaining what is pure devotional service. And here we have it. Text 3. Pure devotional service. So it begins with giving the definition. This definition is in the purport and it comes from Nectar of Devotion. It is Srila Rupa Goswami's definition of pure devotional service. Anya bilasita sunyam jnana karma tanavitam anukulyena krishnanu silanam bhaktir uttama. So this bhaktir uttama, the greatest, this highest form of devotional service, which is pure devotional service, that it must be performed anukulyena krishnanu. That anu means continuous. That shilanam bhakti uttama. It should be continuous. It's a continuous cultivation of devotion for Krishna. So we cannot interrupt devotional service. It must be continue. We must gradually come to that, to always perform devotional service. So then anukulyena krishnanu. Bhakti means activities for the pleasure of Krishna. This is the prime characteristic of the definition. It should be done to please the Supreme Lord. And Anukulyena Krishnanu, for the pleasure of Krishna. And Anya Abhilasa, all other, Anya means all, means other, Abhilas desires. All other desires than that must be sunyam, zero. No other desires than that. Then one performs pure devotional service. And because such devotional service must be devoid of any desire for sense gratification or for liberation, jnana karmata and avritam. These are secondary points. But the prime characteristic is it's for the pleasure of Krishna. And this is the definition of Rupa Goswami. But there are many other definitions. There's another definition in 126 in Srimad Bhagavatam. That Savai Pumsa Parodharmo Yato Bhaktir Adoksai Ahaitu Kapatiyata Yayatma Shuprasidati. The highest occupation for mankind is pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And such devotional service must be ahaituki apatiyata, must be without interruption and without any other motivation. Without material motivation, just to please Krishna. And yayatma suprasidati. And then you will feel the pleasure of the soul, not the body. Pleasure of the soul. We need to understand what's pure devotional service. It's an experience of the soul, not of the mind. We think we are chanting, and then I feel bad. I didn't chant good rounds. That's not true. That if you chant with concentration, you hear nicely, then you chant with attention. And the feelings of the mind, that the mind is material. With the mind you cannot see Krishna. But when it's spiritualized, when it becomes pure, then you can see Krishna eye to eye. So you have other definitions of pure devotional service, like Narada Muni gives also a definition. Sarvopadi vernirmuktam tat paratvana nirmalim rishikena sevanam bhaktirutame. Pure devotional service, Narada Muni says. The pure devotional service is service rendered to please the spiritual senses of the Lord, without upadis, without false ego, without thinking oneself the body. So one needs to identify as a servant of Krishna, identify with his soul, not with the body. So these are different definitions, but the main definition for us is the definition of Rupa Goswami. But such devotional service must be executed under the guidance of a spiritual master. Tat vinipane partner pariprasnana sevya upadikshantitehyam granastat vadakshana. One must approach a spiritual master, inquire from him about spiritual life in a humble way and serve him by following his instructions. And it's in the purport also. Prabhupada said, if one does that, Hyat Varna Punarmam Evan Yasyasi Pandana Yena Bhutani Ashishani Rakshasi Atmano Atomai, then you start to see that everything is connected with Krishna. Everything in this world. So that is a fact. Everything is connected with Krishna. And therefore, because everything is connected with Krishna, we must try to see that connection. And understanding everything belongs to Krishna is for his service, does not belong to me. Good. But to act in such pure devotional consciousness is not an easy thing, to do that constantly. Many times we have also to do activities related to the body. Therefore, Prabhupada writes in the purport, the conditioned living entity performs two kinds of activities, conditional and constitutional. What's the difference? Conditional is with the body, that you have to feed the body, you have to take care of the body, you have to use the body in devotional service. But this body needs to be maintained, we need to work, we need to do our prescribed duty for this body, for maintaining this body. So, therefore, Prabhupada said there are two kinds of activities, conditional and constitutional. Conditional is according to the body. Constitutional is the action of the soul. The action of the soul is devotional service. So if we act with our body, mind and words to please Krishna in devotional service, then our spiritual body becomes reactivated gradually. Prabhupada says in a lecture, you have this hand. This is a material hand. But below the material hand, there is a subtle hand, the subtle body. Otherwise, because the gross body has been grown upon the subtle body. And beneath this subtle hand, there is a spiritual hand. Prabhupada said the spiritual senses are there, but they are covered by subtle and gross senses. But when we act in Krishna consciousness, we are using our spiritual senses. We should not think in terms of the body. That it's an action of the soul. The spiritual senses means the soul. So the conditioned living entity performs two kinds of activities, conditional and constitutional. Activities performed in one's constitutional position are technically called devotional service. So does the activity of our real self, the soul. And that's what the soul wants. It wants to love and be loved. And that love we experience when it's directed toward Krishna. That constitutional, that means according to our psycho-physical nature we have to act. But also these constitutional activities we have to dovetail and use in Krishna's service. What we are good in, we should use and perform for the pleasure of Krishna. So therefore, that's called, these constitutional activities are called in the scriptures one prescribed duty according to one's position in this material world. Duties of a Brahman, duties of a Kshatriya, of a Vaishya, of a Sudra, these different orders of life. They have different duties because they are different materially. But we have to use that in Krishna's service, and then we become spiritual. It becomes spiritualized. When we become spiritualized, we can do anything. Because we act on the level of the soul. Then Pure devotional service means devotional service. Devotional service consists of these 9 processes which we mentioned. That the first step in pure devotional service is hearing from a proper person, Shravanam, hearing from a pure devotee. And that is how we get the seed of devotion. So Prabhupada quotes this verse spoken by Lord Chaitanya: Brahmanda Pramite Konya Bhakyavan Jiva Go Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Beach. Brahmanda Brahmite, we go up and down in this universe, and sometimes a demigod, sometimes a warming stool, we go up and down. But when we become Bhakyavan means fortunate, then go Krishna Prasade by the mercy of Krishna, you are brought in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. And then the bona fide spiritual master, he gives you this Bhakti Lata, this seed of devotion, this Bhakti Lata beach. And the spiritual master gives instructions how to water this seed, giving water by chanting and by hearing about Krishna. Therefore, we have these 9 processes, but they are divided in 2 classes: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So, hearing about Krishna, speaking about Krishna, remembering Krishna. This is called, this 3 first, that is called Bhagavad Vidhi, the process of the Bhagavatam. We are hearing Krishna, we are remembering Krishna, we are speaking about Krishna. That is Bhagavad Vidhi. And the other 5 processes, Pada, Sevana, Marcham, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakramatmani, Vedanam, it's all deity worship. It's called Pancharatrika Vidhi. That's the second part, the method of deity worship. So you have these 2 divisions in these 9 processes. And then Prabhupada speaks about ISKCON's gift to humanity. And what is this gift? Is association of devotees. Because we have to learn this process from the devotees. Good. This was the introduction of the purport. Now, here, of course, you have many other aspects of pure devotional service. It's also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. You can, as a reference, you can check there. But in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 9.30 is Manmana Bhav Madbhakto. That verse is, Prabhupada writes, when a living entity is conditioned, he has 2 kinds of activities. One is conditional, the other is constitutional. As far as protecting the body or abiding by the rules of society and state, certainly there are different activities, even for the devotees in connection with the conditional life, and such activities are called conditional. Besides these, the living entity who is fully conscious of his spiritual nature and is engaged in Krishna consciousness or the devotional service of the Lord has activities which are called transcendental. Such activities are performed in his constitutional position, so as a spirit soul, and they are technically called devotional service. Constitutional position means I'm a servant of Krishna. Shivera Svarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. Our Svarup, our constitutional position is Krishna Das, servant of Krishna. And when in this mood we perform service to Krishna, then we are and we only want to please Krishna, we are performing pure devotional service. Now the first is Utsaha, one of the 6 top topics. First is Utsaha. Prabhupada gives a definition. Good to know this definition for the exam. Many times this has been asked. Utsaha means endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. That's the definition. Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. So, whereas meditators just sit down and fall asleep or endeavor strenuously to not see, hear, taste or touch, the devotee fully employs his senses of Krishna by engaging them in contacting all kinds of sense objects for the glorification of the Lord. So the impersonalist thinks, oh, this material world is Maya. I don't want to have to do anything with the material world. It's the illusory energy. So I'm going inside. I'm retracting all my senses. It's a very difficult process. But the devotee sees, no, Krishna is everywhere, outside, in every atom. He's everywhere. So we see Krishna everywhere. And we use our senses in the service of Krishna to make offerings to Krishna in various ways. So this is a different understanding of Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means whatever is used to gratify Krishna's senses is spiritual. Yukta Vairagya means I know everything belongs to Krishna, not to me. Nothing is mine. No. Nothing is mine. Everything belongs to Krishna. That it's not for my pleasure, things in this world. All things in this world are for Krishna's pleasure. And I'm there to facilitate that pleasure. So that's really Yukta Vairagya. It's like someone finds someone sees some wallet on the street. Someone has left this wallet. That the impersonalist will come and say, "Oh, it's material. I'm not interested." That those who are conditioned by the illusory energy, they see the wallet and say, "Oh, this is my fortunate day." Now it takes it for himself. But no, what's the best way? One sees the wallet, takes the wallet and tries to find the proprietor and give it back to the owner. That's the best way. So everything belongs to Krishna and we give it back to the owner, to Krishna. Because ultimately everything is spiritual because it's an expansion of Krishna, the Supreme Spirit. So everything comes from Krishna. Krishna is spiritual, so nothing material can come from Krishna. Everything is spiritual. But seeing things different from Krishna, that's material vision. That's illusion. We see different from Krishna. So this is called, Prahlad Maharaj called it Pritag Dristi. Pritag Dristi means a separatist mentality. It thinks that this is mine, this is for others. One thinks I'm a man, then you are different from all women. If you think I'm Indian, then you are different from all other nationals, or other nationalities. So by these designations, it's called upadhis, you split up, you separate. But we are not this body, it's just thinking. We are a spirit soul, a part and parcel of Krishna. That we are not this body. We are that, and thinking, from the moment we think we are this body, we create this separatist mentality. And this is for this for others. And every moment you can leave your body, and then what's mine? What are you going to do with it? You have to leave it behind. So intelligent people understand this is Krishna's energy, God's energy. I will use it in his service. So utsaha, that is further, this right yukta vairagya, or the right sense of possessiveness, is explained in Nectar of Devotion, that ana saktasya visayan yatartan upayungyata nirbandha krishna sambandhe yukta varahyam uchyate. When one is not attached to anything, but at the same time accepts things in relationship to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. Now we have a quote here from a few quotes. Yeah. Yes. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 7, 1-6, 1-8. 1-6, 1-8. We go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Stop. Contents here, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya, was Madhya, 7, 1-6, till 1-8. 1-6. Let's see. No, this is something else. Chaitanya. Was it Madhya Lila? Let's go back. That think I have it here. That's 7, 1-6, Madhya Lila. But it's it seems this quote is not correct. Anyway, we continue. Utsaha, being enthusiastic. So it means enthusiastic, that how to cultivate this enthusiasm. That if we hear the definition says, endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. So by hearing transcendental knowledge, one will become enthusiastic to practice it. But also, it is important that we associate with devotees who are enthusiastic. That if we associate with devotees who are enthusiastic, that will affect us. We will also become enthusiastic. Even if you are not enthusiastic, you try to be enthusiastic and really go into it. And just by doing that, you will become enthusiastic. These are few practical points. The next is nisayat, confidence. And Prabhupada gives a definition of confidence. Confidence means that one is convinced that by engagement in devotional service, that engagement in devotional service is the life and soul of the living entity. It is the desired goal and supreme perfection of human life, and simply by engaging in devotional service, one will achieve everything. This means one will not take any help from karma jnana or anything else. So what does it mean? That one must be convinced by performing Krishna consciousness, I will go back to God, that I will get the goal of life, love for Krishna. That if the goal is clear, then one has confidence. Also, confidence comes from knowing that devotional service is a process with stages. Stage that starts with shraddha, some faith. And by shraddha, that faith comes from sadhu sangha. By associating with devotees, one gets faith. And therefore, one should be careful to scrupulously follow the advice given in text 2 and 3 about giving up the association of non-devotees. Because if you associate with non-devotees, they don't have faith, and that will affect our faith. So this is about nisaya, confidence. But we may be confident, but we are not going to reach the goal immediately. It's a process. Therefore, we must be patient. But that's first, Daryat is patience. But that I collected here a number of quotes from the purport, what Krishna says about nishayat, about this confidence. So, first quote is, one should be convinced that by the process of devotional service alone, one will be dragged to success in the end. 1. 2. Avasya Raksipe Krishna, Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. And this is called confidence. So Krishna will give me protection. So that goes together with understanding that devotional service is a process with stages. And surrender is a process. According to Ramanuja Acharya, the process of devotional service has 6 divisions. And the first division of devotional service is understanding, rejecting things that are unfavorable for devotional service. And the second stage is accepting things that are favorable for devotional service. And that's what we are studying now. But that's the beginning. Then you have the third stage, understanding Krishna is my only maintainer. And the fourth stage is, Krishna is my only protector. And then one comes to the point of becoming humble and surrender. So it's a gradual development. And one should know this is a gradual development, and by going to it, that gives confidence. Therefore, to get that confidence, you must know what the goal is, what's the process, and where am I in the process? Where am I? Then you know, I went already to the first stages. Now the next stages will come. And I'm confident I will reach the goal. Like you are traveling from one city to another. Yeah, you are traveling over land from Germany to England, and at a certain you are starting in Berlin. And at a certain moment you come in Italy. Is that the right way? No. To go from Germany to England, you have to go to the Netherlands, Belgium, or France and then take a boat. So if you know who you are, where you are, then you know, okay, I'm on the way. And if I followed our acharyas, they have all followed that path, I will get to the destination. So that requires knowledge, at what position I am, and where am I in the process. Am I a beginner? Am I in the middle, or am I do I have symptoms of being advanced? And that will be discussed in the next verse, in text 5. That text 5 is very important. If we can apply that text 5, that will give us confidence about that process. And one must also be confident that all activities will never yield an enduring benefit. Prabhupada said in a lecture that unless one is totally convinced that there is no happiness in this world, one should not take initiation. That's quite an expression. Yes. So then one must be calmly convinced that giving up devotional service to engage in severe austerities for other purposes will not purify one's mind. So what purifies one's mind? Manmana, thinking of Krishna, will purify the mind. He's the purifying agent who is antiseptic and prophylactic. It's explained in the Shiyas Upanishad. Antiseptic means that no new contamination can. Well, antiseptic means purifying. It purifies you. And prophylactic means no new contamination can come in. So if you think of Krishna, no new contamination can come in. So thinking of Krishna, coming in contact with Krishna is the only way to purify us. That's called devotional service, coming in contact with Krishna. Then have complete confidence in the power of devotional service will enable one to attain his desired goal. Attempting to follow other paths will only succeed in making one restless. Thus must also be understood. Good. Nisayat. No. Daryat. Patience is related to confidence. It's going together. Because we need confidence to get to the goal. That's the process. And with patience we endeavor. That by Krishna's mercy and by our own endeavor we will be successful. Always two things. Our endeavor, Krishna's mercy. That's going together. Following sadhana and Krishna's mercy. The spiritual master represents Krishna's mercy. We need the mercy of the spiritual master. If we act on well with the spiritual master will empower us, and that is mercy. Examples of patience. Prabhupada gives one example of the young bride. She's just married and she desires to have children, but she cannot have immediately children. She will have to go to a process, approach her husband, and then many months later she can have a child. And the same thing of patience. Srila Prabhupada got the order of his spiritual master when he went to preach to the Western world, when he was a young boy. And he executed it factually. He executed it in his old age, when he was 69, 70, he was on his way on the Yaladutta. That's amazing. And his whole life was a preparation for that. His preparation was translating the Bhagavatam, get the first cantos printed, so that he would not arrive there empty-handed, and then he went to so many difficulties just to come to the West. Okay, this is the first three. Any questions so far? So, yes, Venuya?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I have two questions which are connected with each other. Also, at the beginning, you were talking about the definition by Srila Rupa Goswami. And I have already a little experience when the soul is really satisfied, ne? In devotional service. Also when for instance, some busy days, also with festivals or something, then I have this feeling that the soul is satisfied. And on the other side, I have the limitations of the body, also who is tired or hungry or something like this, and then too often the bodily demands pull me down again. Also how can I avoid this? Also to be more on the level to act for the pleasure of the soul, and to have the willpower and the spiritual strength to overcome these limitations of the body, also these weaknesses of the body.
Yeah, the body may be weak. Disease sometimes asking attention, and that Prabhupada instructed us that health first. If we don't have good health, you cannot perform devotional service, not chant with attention, and so on. So health is very important. Therefore we need to maintain a healthy lifestyle, and be balanced. That's Krishna's advice in Bhagavad Gita. Be balanced. Do not do anything that will overhaul your health situation. That will damage it. It's very important when the body is in pain or disease, then the body gives us signals that we have to listen to that and try to heal the body by giving the body what it needs. That requires a great amount of intelligence to do that. We should never forget that we are the servant of the circumstances that Krishna gives us. And sometimes we are incapable to to even go to the temple and attend Mangalarti, but we should have our own Mangalarti program at that time, and perform do what our body allows. That this is important. That health first, Prabhupada said. So that's an important instruction he gave us. But like I said, it requires intelligence. When I heard just Prabhupada was giving a lecture and some devotees were coughing. And Prabhupada was reading on a certain verse, but then he started to lecture about health. He said, why are you coughing? Are you not taking care of your health? He said. That Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he said, you should not eat too much, not too less. Do you give your body what it needs? So that he was concerned about that balance. Giving your body what you need means you have to feed it at scheduled times and give it what it needs. Better to eat less than more, he said. The most diseases come from eating too much. So also, I've been traveling for many years with Prahlad Maharaj, and he would, at that time, he was getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think it's maybe 3 o'clock, but it's getting up early. That it chanced like most of his rounds before Mangalarti, and then he chants with the devotees till maximum 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is doing yoga exercises. While he's doing yoga exercises, he's hearing a lecture of Prabhupada. And that's an entire hour taking care of his body. And his breakfast and his lunch, it's very balanced. That in taste, in everything. And if you are diseased, it's good to know what's the cause of the disease. And take care of it. So that is Prabhupada's instruction. We are servants of the circumstances that Krishna gives us. We have to act within these limits. If your body is sick, don't do anything that will aggravate your situation. You have to take care. That is an important instruction Prabhupada gave. And as a sannyasi, I'm traveling all over the world, and you have the jet lag, you have so many things, and old age comes, so many diseases comes. But I have to be very careful that I can only do what's good for my health. I cannot act against it. That means also not only external, but also your mental health. Mental health means a feeling of well-being is important. Too much in anxiety, Prabhupada said, will create disease. It's not easy in this world, but that feeling of well-being is important for your health. It's called also ahankar in Ayurveda, but it's important. Like you are going to sleep in the evening, don't go from your computer in your bed. That's not good. Before going to sleep, you have some exercises, breathing exercise. Let calm me down. Dim the lights. Tell your body it's going to rest now. That feeling of well-being. So, and that will help us. Yeah, you had another question?
Yeah, also thank you very much for your wise words. I would like to add to this, and I have another question also. That you mentioned Mangarati and scheduled eating times. Also I highly appreciate the Manga Arati, and I feel my main problem is this pushing of the senses regarding eating, because my body is not able to take so much, but he needs more. Also actually, and when I go to Mangarati, then this pushing of the senses is much less. But when I go to Mangarati, then the body feels so crashed, because getting up at 3:30 or getting up at 4:30 is a huge difference for my bodily feeling. And I really would like to have scheduled eating times, but there are often some irregularities, like if you have a seva at this time, or is fast until noon, or something. I know which times are good for me, but they are not not every day practicable. I cannot follow this every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my second question is, you said regarding enthusiasm, to be convinced, I will go back to Godhead and I will get love of Krishna. Also for me is more, sag mal, also on the more last part of life in my age and personal situation. I have really strong desire to go back to God, and I would really like to learn love of God. And on the other side, I see all my impurities and all my qualities I don't have. Also how far will we be nevertheless a candidate for going back to Godhead, although there are so many things which are not like they should be.
Yeah.
As according to scripture and not.
I'm thinking about Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya, Nectar of Instruction, text 4 says, Na Danam, Na Janam, Na Sundarim Kavitava Sri Sekami, Mami Chamamishvare Bhavta Bhaktara Kitvahi. Lord Chaitanya said, I don't want anything in this world, no followers, no contact with the opposite sex, no wealth. I only want your causeless devotional service. I want this life after life. He doesn't want even liberation. So our internal peace comes when we say to Krishna, Krishna, I leave it up to you. I only want to serve you. But I'm confident you will take care of me. You take care of me now. And whatever you want to happen, you want me to serve further in this world, you want me to go to the spiritual world, whatever you want, engage me, it's up to you. And that is surrender. And we need that mood of surrender to be, and then you become peaceful. Let it up to Krishna. I'm now under the care of Krishna, and I'm confident about it. And that's important. That's one point I could make on this. I hope that helps. Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone has another question on these first three items? Otherwise, we continue. We continue with Tatat Karma Pavartanat. Tatat Karma Pavartanat means various activities favorable for devotional service, and Pavartanat means by performing. So one should engage in practical devotional service, especially Shravana Kirtan, and follow the four relative principles strictly. So these are the two parts. That's Tatat Karma Pavartanat means following the negative injunctions, the four relative principles, not engaging again in sinful life, stopping the increased inflow of lust in our heart. And then the other part is a positive, is these 9 processes of devotional service. We engage in these 9 processes, and that will take away the lust and purify us. And we have to follow both, because the positive injunctions will not be effective if we are breaking the regulative principles. It's like you have a bucket with a hole in, and the water comes in, goes out, it will never fill up. So a devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slacken in following them, his progress will certainly be checked. So that's important. Tatat mamta. Tatat pravartanat is the same as Krishna anusilanam. Krishna Anushilanam means continuous cultivation of activities favorable for Krishna, to Krishna. So that we should continuously doing. So then Prabhupada says there are 2 divisions in both. That one is to engage in positive activities, that Schravnakirtan, etc. And the other is to avoid unfavorable things. So we explained these both. Now, in Nectar of Devotion, you have 64 items of devotional service. 64. And the first 10 are things not to do. Not to do. And the next 4 are things to do. So this is the same here as text 2, Nectar of Instruction, things not to do, and text 3 are things to do. So among the things to do, the first instruction is Guru Padasraya. You take shelter of a spiritual master, and then you take initiation from him, and then you follow his instructions. These are the first things to do. And then there are 10 negative injunctions. Yama. So niyam is to do, yam is not to do. Yes. Tatat karma vartanat means doing things that we should do, like the chanting of Hare Krishna, hearing the Bhagavatam every day, that taking only prasad, and so on. And not to do things we should not do is committing offenses. We will hear about these offenses also, especially in text 6 of Vaishnava Aparat, avoiding offenses towards devotees. But to avoid offenses towards devotees, we must know who is advanced, who is not advanced. Neglect of the regulative principles will destroy devotional service. So that's important. Now we come to the next, is Sangha Tyagat. We had that before also, this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya, Asat Sangha Tyag Ei Vaishnava Achar. We should give up the association of karmis, jnanis, yogis and other non-devotees, and also jhana sangha, association of so-called ordinary people in this world. It destroyed bhakti. So we should give up this association of non-devotees, that's one side, but you have the positive side, Tandera Charna Sevi Bhakti Sanevas. So one should perform seva, that in the where Bhakti Sanevas, in the company of devotees, where devotees reside, we should there perform devotional service. Niyam, that's an instruction to do. So not to do and to do. We should not take the association of non-devotees. If one is not a devotee of Krishna, one is technically a non-devotee. And they are divided in jnanis, karmis, and persons attached to sense gratification. These are the ordinary people. And we should live in the association of devotees. And then Satovriti. This is following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Satovriti. So we are following here in Nectar of Instruction, we are following Rupa Goswami. We are Rupa Anugas. We are following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. In our movement, we are all Rupa Anugas. We are following Rupa Goswami and all the acharyas after him in the line down to Prabhupada and further. What this following means, this anuga, this following, or satovrite here, means we follow their principles, their instructions. So we should fill our time every moment with following their instructions and engage in Krishna conscious activities under their guidance. It's a very important principle that whatever we do, we should think, is Srila Prabhupada pleased with what I'm going to do? Will he be pleased with it? Is it according, where are these instructions in Prabhupada's books? I'm going to do that. What's the instruction to follow? I'm going to eat. We think, what should I do? Wash my hands before. Prabhupada said we should wash our hands before we take prasad. So to follow in the footsteps means to follow their principles. And therefore we first need to know these principles. And Nectar of Instruction, Upadesamrita, gives us the basic principles. So we have again, because Nectar of Instruction is a summary of Nectar of Devotion. So these instructions we find here is a summary of the 64 items of devotional service. How to perform devotional service is explained in Nectar of Devotion. And these principles are the basis of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vaidhi means rules. Rules. Sadhana means regular practice. We are regularly practicing the rules. That's Vaidhi Sadhana. And the purpose is to attain Bhakti. Therefore is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And this Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is performed on the impetus of the instruction of the spiritual master. That's Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We find these 64 items. The first 10 are basic things to do, the next 10 are things not to do, and then the other 4 items is how to engage in service to Krishna, especially the deity. Therefore, Rupa Goswami and Prabhupada quotes it again and again, this verse from the Puranas, from the Shrutis. Shruti Smriti Puranadis Paransharatna Vina Aikantiki Are Bhaktir Upatatai Kalapate. If one does not follow these instructions laid down in the Vedas about Bhakti, which are explained here by Rupa Goswami, then we are only Our devotional service is just a disturbance in society. In other words, we must follow the scriptures. Otherwise, we think Bhakti may actually be a disturbance. Now, we covered these 6 items here, but now it said success in devotional service. By following the standard procedure given by Srila Prabhupada, rising early, attending Mangalarti, etc. without cessation, one attains the platform of Visuddha Sattva. Visuddha Sattva without difficulty. Devotional service is pure and perfect, is so pure and perfect, is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcefully dragged to the ultimate success. And that, yes. So we have to follow Prabhupada's standard procedure, just practice it, and we are going towards success. That, because it's so pure and perfect. Once one having begun it, forcibly one is dragged to ultimate success. That then Prabhupada paraphrases a verse which is at the end of the Bhagavatam 5th canto. At the end of the 5th canto, I read a verse from the Bhagavatam. So it says that all the qualities of the demigods are manifest in one who is performing this devotional service. But one who engages in mundane philanthropic activities remains a duratma, cripple-minded. But that's a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The residents of Jambudvip offer prayers. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavata kinshana sarver kunastatra samasate sura arava bhaktasya kutamat guna mano retana satidavato bahi. Honest, this. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activity has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So unless this verse says that one who does not perform devotional service has no good qualities at all. It's a very heavy statement, but what does it mean? People have no good qualities in this world, only the devotees. No, they may have mundane good qualities, but these mundane good qualities, they will not bring about any positive results because it's not related to Krishna. They get karmic reactions in this world, that's all. So these are not good qualities. Good qualities are spiritual qualities, are the qualities of the soul. These qualities are eternal. We get it forever. That if we reveal them, we get them forever. And these are real qualities, they are not temporary. And those who are not engaging in devotional service don't have these spiritual qualities. That they have useless material qualities. Good. Success in devotional service. This is from Bhagavad Gita 2:40. So in this verse says, in this endeavor there is no loss of diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Moment, I'm going to the last one here. So can someone read this purport which is on the screen? Someone wants to read?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Success in devotional service is guaranteed. Bhagavad Gita 2:30. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%, whereas in material activity without 100% success, there's no profit. Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you. So that means that that confidence we can have, success in devotional service is guaranteed. From the moment you start devotional service, you are dragged to success, although it can go over different lifetimes. It's up to Krishna. And that, so I want now to discuss with you that about your experience with association with devotees. What are the advantages you have seen in association with devotees, and what are the challenges? Can someone share your experience? Okay, Venuya.
Hare Krishna. Also my experience in the last 2.5 years, especially that I'm allowed to live in close to Goloka Dham now, and I have more association with devotees than before. And I observe that I have only the chance to develop better qualities in the association of the devotees, especially the advanced devotees. We have a lot of seniors here, and my Guru Maharaj said, we shall allow that the Vaishnavas form us, that they give us shape. And I try as good as possible to follow. The challenges for me are because I came in older age to Krishna consciousness. I'm not senior, I'm only old. I have not the experience in Krishna consciousness, and then it's so difficult for me to behave properly and to avoid offenses, because my nature is quite offensive. This is also the challenges, how to follow correctly the Vaishnava etiquette, because as a beginner you think, or everyone is doing the same in Krishna consciousness, or we follow as a Bhagavad Gita or whatever. But yeah, to learn to distinguish, also between, discriminate between different devotees or different kinds of behavior. So like this.
Okay, thank you. That and Erika, what is your experience?
Actually, the main point for me in the last period that I know Krishna wish from me to accept Diksha, and I try to do my best, but I am just not capable to judge Uttama devotees. I am not able to see those devotees who are most elevated compared to me. So that I feel is just impossible until I don't get that level. How I will do so. This is my problem actually in this period. And I, at the same time, I am very happy because now I understood that before I would choose just to support my spiritual improvement and go further in the process of bhakti. But actually, I was lucky because I didn't rush with this decision, and now I have a totally different perspective. More, I read the scriptures, but still, I feel I will never be able to find the highest, the most elevated Diksha Guru. And at the same time, I know how much is important this decision, which is for one whole life or even eternal. So yes, I had issues just with this actually.
Yeah, thank you. Hearing you speaking, I think you have a certain maturity, and that maturity is your friend. That you have difficulty to understand this is the first step in understanding. That humility is required. And in text 5 and 6, we will speak about that subject matter. So it's a very important subject matter, and let's hope that it will help you a bit to see this more clearer. But within ISKCON, although Prabhupada says that we should be careful to accept an Uttam Adhikar as a spiritual master, or at least a Madhyam, because if one is not an Uttam Adhikar, one cannot help one to advance to this higher level. The Madhyam Adhikar can bring the disciple to his level, but not higher. But we have also to consider that we are in a multi-guru society, and we need to take shelter not only of our Diksha Guru, but also of many Shiksha Gurus. That is very important. And not just see the Shiksha Guru, but what the Shiksha Guru is good in, his qualities, and try to learn according to his qualities that he has developed. Like when I met my spiritual master, Bhakti Charamaj, because that was at the end of the 80s, maybe the half of these zonal acharyas had fallen down, and here Bhagavan left, and so many. The whole ISKCON world was in crisis, we can say. That some devotees had already taken 3 times initiation, and still their Guru Maharaj would fall down. So then at the beginning of the 90s, I was thinking, yeah, let's wait with initiation. It doesn't look so good. But then I met Bhakti Charamaj. And Bhakti Charamaj, he said to me, I'm not a spiritual master, But the only thing I can do is I can connect you with Srila Prabhupada. And that is an essential quality of a spiritual master. A spiritual master connects you with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, but among the pure devotees, he is on a high level, even among the pure devotees. So no one in our movement is like Prabhupada. It's not possible. Prabhupada was empowered to spread Krishna consciousness. So all the other Diksha gurus in our movement are like different lamps, and some have bigger lamps and some have smaller lamps. But they are all representing Prabhupada. So it means in our movement we don't take only shelter of our Diksha Guru, but also many Shiksha Gurus. So therefore I took initiation from Diksha from Bhakti Charamaj, and I met him once a year, and I was a few times a year I wrote him. We kept in contact. But he instructed me, you take shelter of everyone who is more advanced than you. That's the instruction he gave me. And I've been instructed by, I've been trained in devotional service by different devotees who are more advanced than me in certain aspects of devotional service. That I learned preaching because I was traveling many years with Prahlad Nanda Swami. That Prahlad Nanda Maharaj he joined in 1968, really the early times in New York. That he has been practicing without any fall down since more than 50 years. So it's an extraordinary person. But when we were traveling, in the evening, he would give Bhagavad Gita class and speak 20 minutes. And then, after that, I would speak 20 minutes. And then in private, he would give me feedback, sometimes sweet, sometimes not so sweet, but I learned how to preach according to Siddhanta. That he trained me in that, very strictly. So, and I've been very careful since then. Everything I say should be backed up by the scriptures, by Prabhupada, Siddhanta. And that I learned from him. In Radhadesh, in the beginning of the 90s, I was engaged in deity worship then, after second initiation, and I was trained in all aspects of deity worship by Prema Siddhi Ananda Prabhu. He became my spiritual master in terms of deity worship. I traveled so many years with Prahlad, also many times I worked together with Hridaya Chaitanya Prabhu, and I learned from him the importance of tolerance in devotional service. He was so tolerant. He had to deal with so many difficult issues. And in Radhadesh, in the beginning, I was in the ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, together with Yadunanda Swami. From Yadunanda Swami, I learned the importance of friendship in devotional service. How we have to cultivate friendship. And then I followed in Vrindavan, the Bhakti-Vaibhav Bhaktivedanta course, and my spiritual master there was Burijan Prabhu. I learned from him the Bhagavatam. He instructed me to teach Bhaktivedanta. I waited nearly 10 years after that, but I did it. And now I'm teaching Bhaktivedanta for the Mayapur Institute, for the VRG. So this I learned from so many devotees, not just from my Diksha Guru. From my Diksha Guru, I learned Vaishnava etiquette. I learned the importance of be encouraging for devotees and serve devotees. He was a beautiful example in that. So you learn from different devotees. We take shelter of a Diksha Guru, but he's not our only Guru in our movement. In that sense, whether the Diksha Guru is an Uttamadikar or Madhyamadikar, that doesn't matter so much. Because you have to take shelter also from others. Shiksha and Diksha are on the same level. And making a difference of that is Vaishnava apparat, that we have also to learn. So I don't know, I'm telling you this, is that helpful for you? Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I was reading as much as I can in this topic, but maybe I just still didn't get the mercy of the Lord and the time didn't come.
Yeah.
And that's it. I never felt that I was not able to improve in my spiritual life. There is no issues. But still, after 7 years, maybe is already the time. So I should do this. Is a first step, right? And
Yeah.
I still didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I need to be
okay.
patient.
Patient. It is mentioned I mentioned a verse that Guru Krishna Prasad Bhakti Lata Beach. By the mercy of Krishna, Krishna will bring you in contact with a bona fide spiritual master. So we have to be patient and pray to Krishna, please bring me in contact, show me who will be my spiritual master, and be patient. That's fine. Okay, Erika. So we're speaking about the advantages and challenges of living in association of devotee. Smithy, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisance.
Shai Prabhupada.
The advantages I feel, in association of devotees are they inspire me to do my sadhana and to take my bhakti life seriously, and I get to learn many things from them, share with them. And the challenges mostly are I may commit offenses unto them because sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. So I would like to be more careful to not commit any offenses and take them for granted and to avoid misunderstandings. But I think it is inevitable. So I'll be very careful that I don't commit any offenses unto them. But that's it, Maharaj.
Yeah. That's important. We will hear about that in the further verses. That offensive mentality begins very subtle. Finally, that we will hear about that. Thank you, Smith. Saraswati, please.
Krishna, the challenge is similar to what Smriti said. Sometimes in my mind, I may criticize the devotees. I may think something should be done better and commit offenses in this way.
Yeah, so these are the challenges. And what about the advantages?
I become happy. I feel like I can fly.
Okay.
Enthusiasm.
Good. Thank you. Bhakti and Shreya, you want to say something?
Yes, Maharaj. Please accept my obeisances.
Sure.
The disadvantages which I feel is sometimes talking about Krishna consciousness, we may divert to Prajalpa. And yes, the criticism is also sometimes present. And advantages are it doesn't feel really hard when we are with a group of devotees. The path becomes simple. We can go with the group, and if everybody are doing, we feel like doing. So these are few advantages which I feel. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, that's criticizing devotees. I remember Burjan Prabhu, he told us at the beginning of Kartik one year, he made a vow, I will not criticize devotees. But the vow lasted only 4 hours. It was not easy, but we have to be very careful with that. Yeah. Okay, Sveta, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Maharaj,
Hare
please
Krishna.
accept my humble
Mayban
obeisances.
Shai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. For me, I feel association of devotees is very important because sometimes when we have a tendency to fall down, they save us. And it has also happened with me when I had doubts in the process of Krishna consciousness. There are senior devotees who, even if I'm not initiated yet, they saved me to fall down and got me back believing in the process and to have Shraddha in Krishna consciousness. So
Oh,
that is how I see the advantage of associating with senior devotees and like-minded people is very, very important in this journey.
yeah.
Disadvantages, yeah, sometimes disadvantages I have also seen. I don't want to make any offense, but this is my personal feeling. I also see that after all, we are human beings. We become very easily contaminated, and it's a possibility also that sometimes senior devotees could be also materially contaminated by some external factors, and if that happens, then it has a chance to also spread this infection, right? So that could be a disadvantage, but I see advantages more than the disadvantage.
Okay.
It is always helpful for following the devotees path.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
It's not always easy, but without association of devotees, we cannot make spiritual advancement. That's
so much true.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So we have discussed text 2 and 3, things not to do and things to do. And if we do that, then we are ready for having spiritual relationships with devotees. That's important. Without doing these things properly, we cannot have spiritual relationships with devotees. Yes, Erika?
Yes, may I ask please one question related to the association? I am not clearly understanding, so please help me. When we say association, if I listen a lesson online, or if I read a book from Srila Prabhupada example, then what is the difference? Then I associate with a Madhyam devotee personally. So my doubts are regarding to this, that now because of this new age, online platform is so helpful. And therefore, maybe the main point that if I am able to ask questions, then that is the highest. But I don't understand clearly this. Please, thank you.
Yeah, I don't understand completely your question. Can you rephrase it in a simple way?
Yeah, association means that we physically listen someone and we can ask question, but association also when we have an online course or we read, example, Srila Prabhupada books.
Yeah. In the next lesson, we will learn what association means. Association means 6 things. That hearing someone talking about Krishna consciousness, and someone is speaking and we are hearing about Krishna. That's association. That or we give prasadam to someone or receive prasadam. We speak about Krishna to someone else. That's association, and that that giving gifts, giving books of Krishna, that receiving gifts from devotees. These are 6 items of association. That's factual association. These 6 loving exchanges, which we'll discuss next Tuesday. So that is a kind of definition of association with devotees. And these kinds of associations we should not do with materialistic people, only with devotees. So whether it is online or on personally, it doesn't matter. It's association, but of course, giving prasad, receiving prasad cannot be done via the internet. Receiving gifts, we can give Krishna Katha, that's like a gift, and hearing it is receiving the gift, we can say, and that's this process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, we can practice through the internet, and that is part of our association for sure. That's always good. But better personal association. That's first class. Okay. Venuya?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, you said that a spiritual master should be an Uttama Adhikari.
Yeah.
How it is possible, or is it possible at all for us to see who is an Uttama Adhikari, who is an Madhyam? And if I remembered correctly, I don't know if my understanding is correctly, then I've heard that to be a spiritual master, the Uttama Adhikari must go on the level of the Madhyam Adhikari for practicing certain things in his service?
Yeah. So to help us with that, Lord Chaitanya gave us 26 qualities of a pure devotee. We will go over them. These 26 qualities, they are mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and by that you can measure who is a pure devotee. But you can also measure by the symptoms of bhava, 9 symptoms of bhava in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 17 or 18, I think, bhava, that study these 9 symptoms and see if you find that in the character of devotees. Of course, then there is also Bhagavad Gita. In the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is asking, okay, that you speak about a Stita Prajna, a Krishna conscious devotee. What are his qualities? How can I recognize such a person? And Krishna explains, it's someone, Prajati Yata Kaman, who has given up all material desires, who acts who is not affected by happiness or distress of the body, and so on. And and then further, in the 13th chapter, verse 8 to 12, Krishna gives items of knowledge. One who is situated in knowledge, in spiritual understanding, and he gives 21 qualities there. That in the 12th chapter, from verse 14 till 20, the verse starts with Advesta Sarvabhutanam, one is not envious from all living entities. All qualities are mentioned that makes one dear to Krishna. In the 14th chapter, Arjuna is asking Krishna, what are the symptoms of one who has transcended the modes of nature? And Krishna in 3-4 verses gives all the symptoms. So we have so many ways to get to know who is advanced, who is not advanced. And we should take advantage of it. In text 5, we will discuss that also. But first, text 4. So all these things we will discuss in the next lesson, 4 and 5 on Tuesday. Erika, please.
Just one last question regarding to this topic. Do I understand good that actually to be able to analyze, let's say, these qualities in a devotee, that online is not possible, therefore is necessary personal association, because from a lesson how I can see truly, how I can see someone's heart inside is just not possible, right?
Yeah, online you can assess the person's knowledge and realizations. That's valuable. But then it's good to see how this person acts in real life, in association with the devotees. And it's better to have also personal association, certainly. That's But mostly when it is said the aspiring disciples should test the spiritual master for at least 1 year, follow, go where he's giving lectures and get his association. That's required. But good. Anything else? Then we will continue on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Bo.
Thank you very much, Mahat. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.